excuse. Be there, okay? I'm going to play the whole movie. It's going to be played live with an orchestra in Chicago. Okay, well, we're actually just going to talk about Toy Story, That Time You Forgot. Those were a bunch of great movies, weren't they? Come on. I thought the music was meh, but the visuals are always nice. You know, let's bring up some of the people involved with this great thing here. Let's start with the producer, Galen Sussman. Please welcome. The director, all the way from Arkansas or someplace like that, Steve Purcell. Come on. And finally, please welcome head of story, San Diego's own Derek Thompson. Now, I gotta say, you know, watching all of these clips, it's always fun to kind of revisit that stuff, but most companies and most people, when they're starting out, they start with shorts, they graduate to specials, and then next thing you know, they're tapped into a big feature film. But it didn't quite happen that way with Pixar, did it? It was a little backwards. How did it work out? You want to explain?
It's a little backwards. Can you hear me? Thumbs up? Yay, nay? Yeah, so I joined Pixar about 24 years ago, and right then we were starting on a commercial animation vision, but we knew we really, really wanted to do a feature film, and thought, logically, that we would start with a television special. And so we made a test that we called Tin Toy Christmas, which we thought we would shop around and see if we could get somebody to sponsor us to do a television special. So we're going to take a quick look at that. So Woody and actually Buzz was for a while Lunar Larry, and then Tempest from Borg, and went through several incarnations. But we went ahead and we showed this around, and Disney was crazy enough to say, you know what, just skip all that and go straight to doing feature. And so we did, and many, many, many feature films later, it was not until we decided we were going to do Toy Story Terror. I don't know if you all saw that.
Yeah, I'm sorry that those films didn't work out for you guys. But Toy Story Terror was a blast to be a part of. It was fun to be kind of a part of a special that was sort of associated with Halloween. You know, when I was growing up, I loved the specials associated with holidays. It was so fantastic. And now we have a Christmas special, right? Christmas special with dinosaurs. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but maybe you can explain.
Neither. Well, coming off of Brave, I had a chance to work on a Toy Story short, and it was meant to be a 6-minute short. And the premise was that Bonnie takes a couple of her toys, Trixie and Rex, over to her friend's house and leaves them in the playroom while she's playing in the other room with her friend Mason. And in the playroom, they encounter this band of hostile kind of gladiator dinosaur toys. They're immediately taken captive. Turns out these toys don't know they're toys. They haven't been played with because the kid has been focused on his video game in the other room. And they're taken to Dino Jail. And later on, Trixie has to battle the leader of Reckless Maximus in the arena. So John was really taken with these characters. We call them the BattleSaurs. And he asked me to kind of draw out the backstory and the lore and create this little piece that kind of explains as if they were like a real toy line or an animated series or something. So we spent some time creating this little piece that sort of is our first stab at what the lore of these guys is.
Lean into the mic and do that voice. As is written in the ancient texts. I think you should do the rest of this like that. All right, Michael. What would you like to know? I'd like to know, You know what's interesting about the whole sort of the story aspect of this? This is the first time our Toy Story characters find themselves in someone else's universe. You know, normally they're kind of mixed in their own little mythologies, but they're going full board into someone else's world. So how does that happen, and what are the character connections that make that work?
Well, actually, yeah, we started before we even got a chance to finish the short version, the 6-minute version. John came to me and he said, you know, these characters need more screen time. Why don't you make a half-hour show? Put Woody and Buzz in it, and make it take place around Christmas. And he was like, well, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. And so at that point, I brought Derek Thompson as my head of story, and we started growing this story and started creating the additional characters, sort of fleshing out these background characters and these the heroes and the new ones that were going to be integral to the story. So I'll let Derek talk about the new characters that are coming about.
So as Steve and I were diving into restructuring the 6-minute special to inhabit a half-hour special, we were making some significant story changes. We also really dove into this exercise in world building. And one of the first things we did is we looked at all the characters and we started redesigning and thinking about the world as an immaculate reality. I mean, as absurd and silly as the BattleSaurs were, we wanted there to be a cohesive thinking behind it. And John has always been very excited in the Toy Story world when the toys and the toy lines and the details and the truths of the toys are very thought through. We wanted to have answers for the questions: why are they fighting? Where do they come from? Who are they fighting against? And so on. So we rolled up our sleeves and dove into an intensive period of world building. So we started with a hierarchical approach to the BattleSaurs, and with the most intelligent and most highly seated in the culture are the clerics. Now these are the spiritual leaders, the Caesars, the popes, as it were, of this strange world. They commune with the distant dream elders, which are nebulous beings that transmit guidance to the BattleSaurs. We gave the cleric 3 acolytes. They're sort of larval clerics that are in training. And the cleric is a very complex character. He's not pure evil or pure good, and he has the interests of the society in mind as a priority. The next most intelligent BattleSaur is Ray-Gon. We redesigned Ray-Gon, we made him a bit shorter, and we decided he should have 2 brains. And he's in charge of armoring the BattleSaurs. He sizes up the different species, because the BattleSaurs are very different. They've been irradiated by the Zeta rays, and they've mutated out of traditional dinosaur form into these strange shapes. So Ray-Gon is very good at sizing up the shapes of the BattleSaurs and appropriately gearing them up. We also have a lot of warriors in the culture. There's several tiers of battle-hardy BattleSaurs. On the left are the Elysian Guards. These are the female of the species. They are very elegant and tall, and we looked at a lot of Maasai warrior and Kendo fighting styles. Early in animation, we were seeing some really great stuff using those fighting styles. The Raptorian Guard on the right are our most ubiquitous BattleSaur. These are the BattleSaurs a la Stormtroopers or your Cobra Infantry in G.I. Joe. They would come with every playset. They look exactly alike, and there's variants in their armor and stuff, but they're basically the most populous BattleSaur. They have hounds that they hunt and fight with, and for some reason the hounds actually stay very close to the Dimetrodon anatomy. For some reason they were hit with less Zeta rays than the rest. Next up we have the Brutes. These are the least intelligent of the BattleSaurs. These are our sort of heavy lifters. They'll pull the weaponry around, they'll open gates, they drag larger beasts from place to place, and they carry absurdly proportioned weapons. We spent an entire day with Story and Art and Mark Andrews, who's a weapons specialist, and brainstormed BattleSaur weaponry. It was a hilarious 6 hours of brainstorming. And then the big complication for the BattleSaurs in this world are the outland beasts. This is the Goliathon. He's our hero Outland Beast and our sort of closest to our heart. We like the idea early on that rather than a typical He-Man, Thundercats kind of model where there's an arch-villain bad guy that shows up every week, we like the idea that the world itself, this rogue world that has been ruptured by Zeta rays, has created the obstacle for the BattleSaurs. Their deal is they are trying to survive in a world that would crush them. And so all of the Zeta rays outside of Battleopolis have irradiated these beasts. So it was a tribute to Godzilla and kaiju stuff that we love. And the Goliathon has a Zeta breath weapon. He's been captured by the BattleSaurs, collared by Raygon, and is kept as a fighting beast for the Arena of Woe, where our champion, Reptilus Maximus, showcases his prowess. Reptilus is from the champion class, the gladiatorial school of BattleSaurs. He is both refined culture, charm, wit, and audacity. He is also the wielder of the mighty Star Talon, which is a sacred weapon in the BattleSaurs, and he is our co-star in the show.
Are you getting all this, Michael?
So what you're telling me basically is that there are no nerds or geeks at Pixar?
Nope.
None. Very straight. Okay. Just want to get that straight. So, okay, our main character.
Today's word.
You mentioned sort of a pair of two characters.
Yeah, this guy Reptilus is one of our new. He has the most lines in the show. The most.
Is that what makes a main character? You have the most lines.
He's good. Of the new BattleSaurs, he's the most important of them.
Yeah. All right.
And he is he's played by Kevin McKidd. Some of you may know him. HBO Rome miniseries. He helped us out on Brave as Lord MacGuffin, and Lord MacGuffin's incomprehensible son, young MacGuffin.
Don't forget the Brave Dog Soldiers. If you've never seen Kevin in a younger role, Neil Marshall, great werewolves versus soldiers in the Scotch Highland movie.
Yeah.
Well, also, he plays guitar and he sings in a pub on a weekly basis. No joke, the guy is amazing. Amazing singer. I kid you not. That was not a pun.
Yeah, so our other main character from the Toy Story world in this one is Trixie. Trixie is actually the one that kind of takes us into.
So how did you decide on talk a little bit about how you decided on which character kind of be the focus and why?
Trixie felt like she had this kind of explorative spirit, this kind of this charm to her, and we were sort of looking at the old footage and like what she had done in the other shows, and she just had this potential of being this really charming character to bring into the BattleSaurs world.
Because I love that idea, because the obvious choice, clearly would have been Rex, but she was Trixie, fantastic.
Yeah, and she not only gets to immerse herself in the BattleSaurs world, she gets to actually be a BattleSaur during this.
It would be so cool. It would just be so awesome if she could be here.
You know what? I think I saw her walking by. And
Ladies and gentlemen, Kristen Schaal. Kristen, so with all those characters, all those great characters, they picked you. Now, was there bribery involved? I mean, because you're beating out Don Knotts, you're beating out Wallace Shawn, all these guys. What was that all about?
Don Knotts.
Yeah,
It's easy to beat out.
Yeah.
I think about Don Rickles.
Yeah, Don Rickles. Boy, I'm going to get a phone call now. I'll give him free tickets to the Star Trek concert. We're all good.
Well, I just sort of imagine, like, if you wanted to feature Woody, if you want Tom Hanks, he's really busy, but I am completely available. Sessions at any time of the day they wanted you guys around. So it's pretty smart, I think, if you're going to cast cast someone who's not a mega movie star, and they'll come to every video session you want. When you want it.
Now, when you're preparing,
They really did. They worked me harder at Pixar than anywhere else.
they were really mean
It's
there.
horrible. They're like the Kubricks of animation.
So, preparing to be a dinosaur. You look in the mirror, do you roar at yourself? Do you look through old books? Do you get your old dinosaur toys out if you have any? How does it work for you?
Well, I guess my touchstone is, dinosaurs, the extinction, they're gone. And for Trixie, like knowing that, I think that she survived, she just has a carefree attitude now. Survived the ultimate destruction.
Now it's all about just living your life.
Just enjoy life.
What about, as you have a dinosaur, what about a BattleSaur? Is there any kind of a change in the personality that happens when you don all of that equipment?
Yeah, then you're ready to destroy. It's really competitive. Although Trixie, she doesn't really have that in her. But she loves the outfits. And it's fun. It's amazing.
I'm a little confused. So, by the way, I've not agreed to actually score this thing yet. I was going to see how this goes. See how you like it. And then we'll talk about it afterwards. But so far you kept saying Christmas special, Christmas special. I really clearly don't understand how this is a Christmas special. So enlighten me.
Yeah, me neither. We're going to show you some little moments from this show. We're not going to show the whole thing, but we'll give you a taste of it. And this is all a work in progress. So we have the lighting that's unfinished, and we don't have a fantastic score. Michael Shakino. Hopefully he'll agree to do this by the end. But yeah, we have the original cast members. As you can see on the screen, we have Don Knotts, Wallace Shawn, we have Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, we have Timothy Dalton, and Joan Cusack, and our little new character, Angel Kitty. She's a little ornament, so she's sort of our Christmas spirit that goes with us on the adventure. So we all know, I'll just set up the first clip. We all know that the Toy Story gang lives at Bonnie's house, and at Bonnie's house, playtime is like improv, and you never know what the role is you're going to get next. And so Trixie's been lamenting that she never gets to be a dinosaur. She realized she feels like a dinosaur, but she never gets to play one at Bonnie's house. And it's a couple days after Christmas, and Bonnie takes a few of the toys. Trixie wrecks Woody and Buzz and the little Angel Kitty ornament. She goes over to her friend Mason's house, and Mason, he has this amazing playroom. She expects to find him in there, but he's not in there for something. He's playing with his new Christmas present across the hall. So that's where we'll start the clip.
First time seeing a bit of this, huh?
Yeah, that's my first time.
What, any reactions?
I love this whole thing. I'm so excited. I think it's really good.
So you want to pull your name off the project? You're in?
No,
Great.
I'll do another interview.
Yeah, so the next, when these characters get together, the sparks fly, and Trixie and Reckless together, they just have chemistry right away, and their moment is interrupted by this creepy Claire character that comes in. He's him on the right side of the screen there, and he just wants the Toy Story characters out of there. And Reckless, our hero, stands up for the dinosaurs. He says, "Are dinosaurs not welcome in our great city, wise cleric?" And then Cleric comes around, fine, have them made presentable. I find their lack of armor disturbing. So we go on to the next play set, which we call the Armory, where we find Ray Gong.
Okay, still in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even more. Now I want to buy stock in this.
I Michael, are you still in?
I'm in. Actually, we were talking earlier, musically deciding, trying to what to do. So I called one of my percussionists that we just finished Planet of the Apes on, and he played the original Planet of the Apes. His name is Emil Richards. And he played, the horn, that thing? He has the original horn that he played on the original Planet of the Apes. So we're going to use it in this. As anyone else who here, so I admit it. Yeah, so there you have it. Horns, yay! And what was it like working with Don Knotts when you talk about that?
I asked him about, working in Mayberry and all that. Again, a lot of great stories.
It's great to see he's doing well. Okay.
So, our characters, Reckless takes Trixie on a walking tour of the city, showing all the play sets with great pride. It's like they're walking through the streets of Manhattan. And as most first dates end up, he sings a beautiful song at the end. Volcano Command Base. And so we have a little bit of footage of the song that's in progress. Michael, hopefully, will finish the...
yeah, I think what you're going to hear is just the lyrics and the vocals, but there will be music behind it at some point, so... So ridiculous. But fun. You love those old cartoon themes from the 80s. Fantastic. With the hairband style.
All the dinosaurs around join in. It's this giant Broadway musical number. Knowing their theme song from their series, so it's just hardwired into them. So shortly after that, the Dream Elder Tower activates, and we hear the voice of the Dream Elder suspended in there, yelling out and calling the BattleSaurs, "Time for battle! Time for battle!" And all the BattleSaurs race to the arena of woe.
Christmas connection. So
we're pretty excited though to be able to announce that this is going to premiere on ABC on December 2nd.
More importantly, if anyone's ever seen my office, I have toys everywhere. So am I going to be able to have BattleSaurs on my shelf?
Toys. Awesome. With the full line of the 4-inch action figures. We've got Rex in Battle Gear and Trixie in Battle Gear. And of course, Reckless Maximus. Moving on, we've got the Choleric, great, and Raptorian Guard. And last but not least, it's a lot of fun. This mouth will open if you would like to stick one of the toys inside.
Or your little sister's finger. Excellent. All right, so I think let's give these guys a big hand here. Haven't done yet. So, anyway, so let's have some questions and hopefully some answers. So I think we can line up here at the mic and we'll just kind of go through. And I think for the first 10 people who line up, I'm not going to say it until everyone lines up. No, for the first 10 we have autograph. What do they call autograph tickets? Right? So you make sure that you'll be able to get your poster autographed and we'll take care of that. And we'll give you instructions on that later. So, okay, sir, your name and your social security number.
Okay, I would like to thank all the Toy Story series that since I was a kid, I want the Rex, what part of the Rex should make. And thank you all for making all the prehistoric figures, everything. That's all I wanted. So here's one of my questions for everybody. How did it feel? I forgot the new character. How did they feel Trixie when he saw Rex? Did he feel jealous about it, or did he feel in love with him?
Oh, when Trixie saw Maximus?
Fall in love with him?
Oh, I think she was definitely in awe of him, and maybe there was some love there. I don't think Rex was jealous. I think Rex and Trixie have always just been friends, like brother sister kind of thing.
What was interesting about this show, which we rarely get to put the actors together, we usually record them months apart, but we got to have a session with Kristen and Kevin together. And it was really great to have their banter back and forth.
Yeah, Kevin decided just to tell Grey's Anatomy to screw it and came on over. And, it was great. He's got a real silky voice, and if you have a Scottish accent, you know, and you live in this country, I would say don't lose it. You know, keep it up. It's great.
Do you remember what we called his voice?
Velvety. A cavern of velvet.
Okay, next question.
Hi, I'm Lexi. I heard Toy Story. If there was going to be a Toy Story 4, would the characters from the special be in it?
Wow, there's a lot of ifs in there. It's impossible to know. We love all of our Toy Story characters, so who knows what we'll do next and what we'll make and who will be in it. I think the only guarantees are usually the core gang. But yeah, we love them all. We'll just keep trying to come up with ways to keep them alive for you.
I'm just gonna say yes. There will be a fourth movie and they're all gonna be in it.
And I, for one, would vote for a Combat Carl movie. I'm on with it. All right. Hello.
Hello. I just want to say, like, I actually found out about this project through the fantastic poster you guys posted online by Mike, and I'm just wondering how you were able to, contact him, or like, oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, do you want we have his phone number.
Okay. How did it come about? Well, one of our guys in the design department actually thought that Mike might be a good choice to do a poster for us. And I went to school with Mike, and we drove down here to Comic-Con in 1982 together in my '66 Barracuda and stayed at the Pickwick Hotel. And we drove all night so we could save $60 for the first night. But I've known Mike for a long time, but for whatever reason it never occurred to me to ask him to do a poster, so it's great that it came from Pixar, and we just kind of got out of the way and let him do his version of what the characters look like. So we're really excited that he was able to do that for us.
Do you know where we can get one?
Well, actually we do. At the ABC booth, they're going to start handing them out at the conclusion of this panel.
Yeah, after this panel, you'll be able to
Limited
get
edition, but you can't get them before. So I'd say after the panel, you might want to scoot a little bit faster than a slow walker.
It's at booth 4245, I believe.
Hi. First off, fantastic clips you guys showed. I'm very much looking forward to it. And congratulations, Steve, on getting a director's gig. I've been a big fan of yours since Sam and Max first came out. I know you mentioned that Kevin McKidd is voicing Maximus. Can you guys reveal any other voice actors you guys contacted to play some of the other characters, like the cleric?
Steve is the cleric.
I just kept doing the voice in the scratch reel, and John Lasseter said, "You're playing the cleric." So it was great to have him tell me that I had to play my own character.
We did consider Werner Herzog for Angel Kitty, but we never reached out to him.
Or Alec Baldwin.
We wanted to have a range of vocal possibilities, but we ended up with Ernest Child voice as opposed to a German eccentric filmmaker. But Steve did a pretty good Werner impersonation during editorial sessions, and it was hard to ignore the power.
Grateful for your gifts. They are all around
name's Eric. I had a question for you, Steve. How was it coming off of Brave, coming onto this? You know, it's a 30-minute film, and so you know, was the process different? And also playing a character you developed. How was about that?
It was very different. Brave was a long production, as we know. It went on for a long time, and you know, the material's a little heavier, and so to come onto this, it was in the shorts group, and it was really great for me to go into this group where things are being turned around very rapidly. And so like I had a beat pass of this story, the short version of the story, pretty quickly, and then, you know, I'd hear, okay, next week you're gonna pitch this to John Lasseter. What, next week, really? Like, because that seemed, you know, working on a feature, that's not quite the case. You're generally, there's longer times between the reviews, and so, oh, okay, I'm pitching it to John Lasseter next week, and then, okay, and then the week after you've got beat boards, and then, so it was a very quick process and lots of turnaround and lots of kind of decisions being made rapidly, and also I got to use all my goofy muscles, which was great, you know, trying to, you know, write the Toy Story characters. There's a little ramp up for me, like just to get to know their personalities, because I haven't worked with them before, but to create the new characters was just a joy because, you know, you just make them as strange as I wanted to. So that was really satisfying for me. And to play a character in it was really super exciting, and get to play alongside.
It's the best, isn't it, to play a character in it?
There was something really great about that short form, just remembering that those first few months in development with Steve, when we're working on features, we're often on projects for many, many, many years at a time, and you do sort of, things balloon and you lose focus, and there's something about that short form and the frequency of those reviews that lends a discipline to it, and Steve and I were able to road test a lot of things fast and get them in front of Andrew and John fast, and it was refreshing. It's like if you've ever gone from a feature, writing a novel to writing a short story, it's like it's a really fresh, revitalizing thing to mix into the process.
We also had the commercial breaks to build in, and that sort of forced a act break structure on us, which was actually really informative and helped us keep on track, because we always knew we had to get to a little bit of a cliffhanger every, you know, few minutes.
Yeah, John always had his eye on the last word of every commercial break, and what, you know, that getting that rhythm. And interestingly, for those of you who study or look at screenplay or story structure, the act breaks land really organically. So we were still sort of taking the 21-minute and 30-second piece and building it like a 3-act movie with a midpoint in the second act where things you just saw at Time for Battle is the story shifts in tone, and it was a good exercise.
So, Derek Thompson here had a story. Your first Comic-Con was what year?
1978.
Come on, how cool is that? 1978, and now here he is up here talking to everyone else. I think that's fantastic. Hey, how are you doing?
Okay. Yeah, I love Toy Story. Don't think the kids are not in it, or that guy like the light bulb falls. Okay. I would have that. I found the Toy Story, like, about Woody. It would be a good idea, like, even though it may not be for the rest, but like his backstory, like, because he was a family toy. I got pretty
That Reptilius?
No, Woody.
Oh, Woody, his backstory.
And in the sequel, the second film, Andy's mom thinks he was a family toy.
Right.
Like of Andy. Like a little bit more of his background.
We'd like to know a little more of the background of Woody. Where's he from?
Like might be his father or his mother or...
Who do he belong to in the family? These are the questions.
All I remember about it is that he was Andy's father's toy.
Yeah.
But beyond that, actually, I don't remember what the backstory is. I'm sorry.
So it'll be good, like, finding a little short, like a flashback, but it probably wouldn't be too complicated because Toy Story's about a whole game. Because I didn't answer my own question, basically.
A lot of speculation online how all these toys are sort of interlocked.
Yeah,
so it's fascinating to read those.
Some of them are pretty convincing when you read them. You're like, oh, that's actually pretty good. Yes?
Hi. First of all, I want to say I really love all, but no kidding. But I noticed I noticed in the club that the toys were excited about a play date, as opposed to what we've seen in the past, where they didn't get to play with Andy and then with Bonnie. You know, they were like, oh, we get to play with the toys. Is that kind of a evolution of the storyline which we're going with?
Could you repeat the part about excited about the play date?
Playing with other toys as opposed to playing with Andy or Bonnie.
Oh, for us, yeah, for us it felt like in the story that they were just resigned to the fact that, oh, okay, I guess the kids are occupied elsewhere, so we'll just go hang out with our friends, because they had been in this room before, and so that's why Trixie's going, well, we're Sake and the Little Wrestlers and the Eco Force Gang, which all those characters have backstories, by the way. The Eco Force Gang is a real thing that we had in the story in a big way, and sort of fell out along the way, but they just expected to, you know, okay, well, I guess we have the afternoon to kill, so what do? We'll go visit our pals in the playroom. But they're not here, uh-oh.
Oh. Thank you. Hello.
So I look at these clips and I'm thinking to myself, this stuff is so amazing. It's better than any film I've seen the actors played on.
I agree with you.
Giacchino's for Heat. Amazing. But yeah, so is there ever a thought process where it's almost too good, where you like, could this be a feature? Or you know,
too good for TV? Yeah, it's too
good. Maybe for 21 minutes, where it could be, you know, the backstories are so expansive. You know,
What do you say? Tear it apart? Make it longer? 90 minutes? Yeah.
Okay, well, I hadn't thought of it. Let's do that.
So again,
After
Toy Story 4.
For us, we just thought about it like a feature, or like an epic saga, and for us, it was like, how do we squeeze it down into 21 and a half? And because all the set pieces we wanted ended up in it, like all the stuff the storyboard guys drew. Early on, we'd say, oh, well, like you drew too many people in that arena, and then it's like, oh, wow, we have all those characters are in the arena. How did that happen? So it's like we got everything we imagined. And also, you know, we're trying to shoot this like a science fiction movie where once Trixie becomes immersed in the world, it's almost like you're seeing it through her fever dream of being immersed in this space, and we actually let the windows go away, and John Lasseter was actually encouraging us to do even more, like let the atmosphere come forward, let the play sets feel like real, like, you know, real structures, and that the mountain range is made of cardboard is kind of going back into the mist, and so we're totally immersed in this world, and just it's kind of a homage to all our favorite, you know, science fiction movies.
Which of course gave us license to have research screenings. We had extensive research, genre research screenings for our story team, for our animators, to kind of, you know, the prerequisite films that anybody working on the show had to watch, and it was very illuminating. But it was fun because we grew up cutting our teeth on this stuff, and so to be able to bring the kind of material and the quality of the filmmaking into this world of Toy Story, it was a real treat.
So this was a boondoggle, is what you're saying? Yes, excellent.
Well, thanks for keeping the world alive with Toy Story. We love revisiting the characters and meeting new friends every year. Thanks.
Thanks for your question.
Hello. Michael, first off, I want to give you another shout out for your concerts. I'm going to be there. I'm very excited. Everyone come to the Star Trek concert.
I didn't even pay him anything.
No, but my question is for the entire panel, and it's very important to me. If Don Knotts hadn't been dead for almost a decade, what kind of toy would he play?
The mailman. We used to have a mailman in the arena. That might be
The first movie I ever saw in a theater, I think, was Ghost and Mr. Chicken. I really saw Don Knotts. We would have thought of something if there was a Don Knotts.
I'm always thinking about Don Knotts, that's why I just said that.
Maybe like a Jack in the Box.
I'm sorry we didn't have anything there.
Where did you get the idea for Toy Story?
The idea for Toy Story.
The
I think most of it comes just from our love of toys, and the idea really was just about what do toys do when the kids aren't around, and everything kind of blossomed from that original idea. And I think all of them have, that at the core, and then generationally, it's sort of, if you think about the films, it's a lot of telling stories about the kinds of things that we're thinking about, and that we're caring about relationships, about growing older, about all those kinds of things. So it's combining things that we're thinking about and things that we're experiencing with this idea of what do toys do when the kids aren't at home.
I wanted to know how long does each movie take, let's say, how long does the parts of the movie take, like the anime and the voice and how long would it take to put all together?
All the different parts take different amounts of time. For this one, since it was shorter, 3 years. Is that me doing that? It's the plate in my skull setting up. Yeah, this one was a little shorter, but we tend to spend the most time in story because the more time we can spend figuring out the story, the less time we spend paying lots of expensive resources to be building things we're not going to use. So we wanted to make sure the story is right before we move forward and start putting things in layout and animation. So the story process tends to go on for a big chunk of it.
Story for this show, if you include the stuff you guys were doing before I started, is about 2 years of story work on this. 21 minutes.
Usually about half of the time spent in story and art, designing characters and environments and whatnot, and editorial, because editorial takes that story and builds the reels and we record scratch dialogue and put all that together. And so we spend, for whatever duration it is, we usually spend about half of that with just those crews before we start bringing on anybody to build characters or sets or things like that. So
it takes as long as you've been alive.
Thank you. All right.
Hi.
Hi.
You're going to get another plug again. I'm actually singing with the Star Trek chorus.
You're in the choir?
Yes.
Are you going to wear this?
They wouldn't let me. But the music is beautiful, and I think that music is such an important part of telling a story. And so I'm curious about the collaborative process of, what you're doing when you go to write a score for something like this. How much is it just kind of you taking the story and going off and doing your own thing, and how much of it is working together as a team?
Well, first of all, let's be honest, I really never know what I'm doing. It's always just sort of like putting out your best guess. You're always just hoping it's right. But what I try to do is understand the characters. And as opposed to looking at a scene for what the action that is taking place, I look at it for what is that person, that character feeling? And that's where I go, right there. Like, what is Trixie feeling at that moment? Is she afraid? Is she sad? Because you could have a chase scene, and you could score it like a chase scene. It could just be a lot of action music, or it could be something that's incredibly sad. It all depends on what the context and subtext of the scene is, what are the characters thinking and feeling. So that's where I go first. And from there, it's just about sort of, mapping that out across the film. Now, we sit together, and we watch it, and we talk about, music could start here, it could end here. We talk about different emotional aspects of it. A lot of it is seriously not talking about music, it's talking about emotions, and it's talking about storytelling. I mean, that's really what it's about. Rarely do we ever mention the word French horn or violin or anything. It's always just about it needs to feel frightening or scary. So that's
we do say Planet of the Apes horns.
Well, we say Planet of the Apes horns a lot, yeah. We like Planet of the Apes horns. Yeah, absolutely, thank you. I think we have 2 more questions here, I think.
My question is that in the toy clip, there was Woody and Buzz. They both have armor on, but does the ornament get armor? Because it's
Thank Little Kitty doesn't need armor, she's armored with goodness.
She's the spiritual counterpoint to the clerics. So.
Armored with goodness, you heard it here first.
When is there gonna be a Easter holiday for Toy Story?
We're gonna do an Easter special.
There you go. I don't know, but we'll take that back home and talk about it.
All right, thank you so much. Thank everyone for coming out here today. Especially want to thank my friend from BattleSaur over here. Thank you guys so much. And don't forget, those posters are over at the ABC booth, booth 4245. And have a great day, have a great Comic-Con. Thanks for coming.